disrespectful to the memories.
No, dumbass. What's disrespectful is swallowing that spoon-fed Kool-Aid that's parading as the official account of 9/11, hook, line, and sinker. Like 99.9% of the people in this goddamn country. I am honoring the memories of those who were lost, okay? I'm honoring my brothers. My brothers by asking questions.
Sunjata says it was only...
There's so many things, so many questions that have not been answered. Very disturbing questions, especially when you look at them from a contextual standpoint.
There just seems to be more questions left unanswered than anything else. And, you know, I don't want to jump into any conclusions, but I also don't think it's ever been given its due diligence, considering that it is the largest crime ever committed on U.S. soil.
These are the questions, Mr. President. These are the questions. They go on and on.
We're not the conspiracy theorists on this particular issue. It seems to me like, 19 amateurs with box cutters taking over 4 commercial airliners and hitting 75% of their targets. That feels like a conspiracy theory.
19 hijackers they put up on the website, and like 5 or 7 of them are still alive. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that in and of itself grinds your story to a halt.
All the information that they should contain, were they all destroyed by the fires? Well, if the black boxes were destroyed, how could a simple little passport, I believe it was Muhammad Atta's, was discovered at the site of the crash?
Cell phones working at impossible altitudes. Solicitor General Ted Olson receiving phone calls that the FBI says were never made.
What happened during that call? This is the only information we have on these terrorists.
She was able to call him twice. How she could pull that off, we don't know. But
why was Building 7 pulled down?
2 of them were hit by a plane, but the third one, they said, do you want us to pull it? And they pulled it, and it looked just like the other 2.
Yeah. Eventually would either come down on its own, or it would be taken down. And that it eventually would either come down on its own, or it would be taken down. Or it would be taken down.
Go ahead and pull it.
And we gave the order and watched the building come down.
Yeah. Well, pull is that's his coming to the demo world as action and cut to the movie world.
Here is Larry Silverstein, the owner, who...
The thing to do is pull it. And they made that decision to pull, and then we watched the building collapse.
Jane, what more?
Tower 7 disturbs me the most. I look at Towers 1 and 2, and I go, well, they got hit by planes, and look at the fire and everything. Maybe it broke. Maybe everyone's being crazy. But that Tower 7 just went whoosh, just like a controlled demolition. And everybody's like, yeah, but it had holes in the building, and you see the hole in the building. Yes, I see the hole in the building, but wouldn't it fall towards that hole? Why is it falling like that? Why wouldn't it, wiggle and collapse towards where it got jacked? It just seems like a controlled demolition.
Yeah, and then
when I build something and I knock it over, it falls over. It doesn't fall down. So why did it fall? Why did they fall down?
We start from the beginning, because this is a lot.
It said it fell at, NIST report said it fell at free fall.
So then you make the
wait a minute. That means you got to defy the laws of physics. That means everything was removed in which for anything to fall at free fall.
But then you make that
speed.
leap then to the idea that it was demolished by explosives inside by the government.
I don't make a leap. Why didn't they check for explosives? They never did, if not to eliminate them. They didn't do that.
World Trade Center Tower 7, Building 7, which collapsed in on itself. It is impossible for a building to fall the way it fell without explosives being involved. World Trade Center 7. World Trader 1 and 2 got hit by planes. 7, miraculously, the first time in history, steel was melted by fire. It is physically impossible.
And who do you think is responsible for that?
I have no idea. But to say that we don't know that it imploded and it was an implosion and a demolition is beyond ignorant. Look at the films, get a physics expert here from Yale, from Harvard, pick the school. It defies reason.
Let's get one, okay?
Building 7, there's no way that building wasn't detonated. Everybody knows it. Nobody wants to talk about it except for the people who, from an architectural standpoint or an engineering point of view, just go, there's no other way this building came down. Nothing fell on it. There was not enough fire. End of story. Buildings don't fall like that. That's just stupid.
I would say 50 to 60% of Americans today don't even know that a third building went down. They have no idea.
that this third building went down at 5:20 in the afternoon, went down in 7 seconds flat, and wasn't struck by any airplane.
Right.
Well, when they, in their own document from NIST, that's the people that did the report, took 8 years or whatever, or 7 to get this out, they used the term free fall. That the building, it's in their words, in the document, you'll see it went into a free fall. Well, I got news for you. I used to blow things up for a living. And there's also something called physics, the law of gravity, which you might not like it, but you can't deny it. Free fall can only happen when all resistance is removed, because a moving object that runs into one not moving is going to slow down. That's the law of physics. When they say it went into total free fall, means there was no slowdown, which means there's only one way to remove the resistance. The buildings were demoed, or that building was for sure, right in their own documents. How can they, and yet, where's our media? Where's the mainstream media? Well, they're busy attacking me.
The thing that I can't get my mind off of is that if there's a problem with Building 7, there's a problem with the whole thing. If there's a problem with Building 7, there's a problem with the whole thing.
There was a lot of questions about it, and my son Charlie introduced me to a lot of information, questions and so forth, and up until then, which was just like last year, I was very dubious. But I did not want to believe that my government could possibly be involved in such a thing.
Absolutely, I don't think any of us want to.
I couldn't live in a country that I thought could do that. Exactly. That would be the ultimate betrayal. Sure. Then, however, there's been so many revelations that now I have my doubts. And chief among them is the Building 7. How did they rig that building so that it came down on the evening of the day?
Are you referring to the Larry Silverstein statement to pull it and the way that it all came down? Absolutely.
How convenient.
Yes.
When did they rig that building?
When you look at the 9/11 Commission, they didn't even address Building 7. There isn't one word in their entire report.
Not one word in the 9/11 Commission report about the collapse of Building 7. As a matter of fact, during court proceedings dealing with the NYC Can petition, I believe the judge who is presiding over the matter, his name is Judge Lerner, when Building 7 was brought up in the courtroom, he said, "Building what?" He didn't even know what Building 7 was or how it related to 9/11. I'm not sure if he knew that it collapsed that day. Now, you know, any report or investigation that purports to be a full accounting of the events surrounding the day and on the day of 9/11 should clearly have addressed at least a couple paragraphs to the collapse of Building 7.
The 9/11 Commission at the time chose completely to ignore those 503 statements.
I mean, 70% of the questions proposed by the victims' family members during the 9/11 Commission were completely ignored. So that fact alone, I think, begs for a real investigation into the matter. You also have 60% of the Commission members at this point who have said something to the effect that the investigation was thwarted, that their attempts to investigate were blocked, that they were lied to by the government and by the CIA. They used every word except the word cover-up, basically, and one or two of them may have even used that word as well. So when you have all of these people dissenting from the validity of the 9/11 Commission report, even 60% of its own members, the people who sat on the commission, I mean, what else can you do but re-investigate, or maybe investigate properly for the first time?
They weren't going to investigate anything. They told us their version of what happened, and we're expected to solely believe that, no matter what evidence then surfaces.
During the trial, one of the bombers claimed the CIA had advanced knowledge. The diplomat who issued the terrorist visa was CIA. It's not unthinkable they paved the way for the bombing purely to justify a budget increase.
You're telling me that you're going to fake some terrorist thing just to get some money out of Congress?
Well, unfortunately, Mr. Hennessy, I have no idea how to fake killing 4,000 people. So we're just going to have to do it for real. Oh, blame it on the Muslims, naturally. Then I get my funding. Good night, old girl.